Overall, not a bad Wednesday here in central and eastern Kentucky. We had that frontal system move through a bit earlier. Some spotty showers here in the Bluegrass region mid to late morning, and then through the early part of the afternoon across the southeastern mountains. Things quieting down already in most locations, and that trend will continue for the late week with some pleasant air filtering in, albeit slightly cooler. But touch of summer heat returns late this weekend. In fact, we could see some near record high temperatures possible into early next week. I think it's going to be our warmest stretch so far here in 2026. Taking a look at the radar and satellite, a few little isolated cells are still trying to fire, even though the front is on down into parts of southwest Virginia. We had that initial batch. I mean, it was a quick rain here in Lexington, in and out in less than 5-10 minutes as it worked into eastern Kentucky. And then right along the front, got a couple of isolated cells popping up there and across parts of Pike County. But the bulk of the activity over to West Virginia, western Pennsylvania, organized rain and storms, a lot of lightning with it, even a few severe thunderstorm warnings there. Mixed clouds and sunshine in front of the Montgomery County Courthouse there in Mount Sterling. 72, so it's taking a little while for the cooler air to trickle in, even though we have that breezy northwest wind now at about 10 to 15 with higher gusts. Looking good Jackson County near McKee, where it's 74. So we ended up with a really nice afternoon temperature wise. How about mid to upper 70s down south, generally into the mid 70s here in the Bluegrass, and those winds still gusting between 25 and even 30 miles per hour, especially along and north of the I-64 corridor. As we approach sunset and not long thereafter, I think winds will begin to diminish somewhat. You see the cooler air off to the north. That's going to be filtering in as high pressure builds in from the west later on tonight. So the front, again, moving into the eastern part of the country, the mid-Atlantic, high pressure over the central plains heading our direction. So a nice quiet stretch, it looks like, as we finish out the week, at least heading into Thursday. Skies will clear out later on. It will be a touch on the cool side tomorrow morning, so do keep that in mind. We'll be in the low to mid 40s, so if you're out early, the light jackets will come in handy, and with a steady northwest wind at about 5 to 10, coupled with, I think, a mix of clouds and sunshine. We'll call it mostly sunny, but I think we'll see some of those fair weather cumulus clouds. That's going to hold us into the upper 60s for afternoon highs, which of course is a little bit below the curve. Quiet weather until really Friday night into Saturday, and that's when our overall pattern is going to flip. That area of high pressure gives way, and then here comes the warm front, which will arc through Friday night into Saturday. That'll put us in the warmer sector, and Saturday's temperatures may be a little tricky depending on the amount of coverage as far as the storms go, but look at where we're headed. Yes, upper 80s to right around 90s, so the warm front firmly through, and the activity as far as thunderstorms will be across areas in the northern part of the Ohio Valley, southern Great Lakes. So I think we're dry on Sunday, and with that southwest wind cranked up, that's going to continue into Monday as well. That next front gets in here on Tuesday. We'll have a little bit of humidity. It takes the body a little while to get acclimated coming out of the winter through the spring when we get that first dose of several days close to 90. So with it falling on a Sunday, you definitely want to keep that in mind. In red, there are your record highs. We're going to be awfully close, it looks like, in that Sunday through Tuesday window before we see some changes with the frontal boundary moving in. Cooler tonight, mostly clear, low down to 43. Coming up tomorrow, mostly sunny, a very pleasant day for mid-May, 67. In the extended forecast, we jump right into it this weekend. Saturday obviously impacted a little bit with a few scattered storms, but then some heat builds in, highs right around the 90-degree mark, and then we'll knock temperatures back a bit as those thunderstorms will be in the forecast about a week from now.